Hey everybody, what's going on? I am Mark Heaps, co-host of Creative Pro Week and one of the co-creators of the Click Conference. I am so glad you could actually join us today. This is one of my favorite parts of the entire event. If you're a new guest, welcome. If you're a return attendee, you kind of already know the score, but we usually do this in person on stage. So let me explain a little bit about how 3 Minute Max is going to work this year virtually. So what we've got for you this year is 5 instructors from the Click Conference. And during 3 Minute Max, we challenge them to show their best tip in under 3 minutes. Now, the goal here is you are super impressed by the tip. And when you're done, there will be a survey link at the bottom of the page where you can click and go vote for your favorite. Now, why would you do that? Other than feeding the instructors' egos, there's actually an incentive in it for you. We are going to collect all the names of everybody that votes, and then we're going to put those into a raffle, draw the name out, and the winning name will actually win a 1-year subscription to Creative Cloud from Adobe. Now, what if you already have a Creative Cloud subscription? Well, you can just tack it on the end of it and it will add another year to your account. What if you say, hey, my job pays for my account and I don't actually need it? Well, you can gift it to a friend. We can work all that out with you once we reach out and contact the winner, but that is the prize. Pretty valuable prize too. 1-year Creative Cloud subscription from Adobe, the full shebang, all the apps. All right, so now you know how it works. We're going to actually bring up our first instructor. He's a return competitor for 3 Minute Max and a good friend of mine, Mr. Joel Simmons. Joel, what are you going to show us in 3 minutes or less?
All right, so my 3-minute tip is basically stacking animations in PowerPoint. So let's say I want to have this guy jump over this box here, but I want him to be doing a whole bunch of little tricks while he's jumping over the box. So that's kind of impossible in PowerPoint right now. You can only do maybe 1 or 2 things, like have him spin and all that kind of stuff. Just maybe 2 things. So what we're going to do is we're going to fool PowerPoint. So I'm going to copy this guy. I'm going to make a new document, and I'm rushing because I have 3 minutes. Let's see. So I have a new document. I'm going to go to design, and what I'm going to do is make a square document. So I'm just making it 5 by 5, and it's going to be a nice square. Let's get rid of that. Paste him in there, and I'm just going to make him nice and big. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some animations in here, and we're going to be real quick about it. So first of all, I'm going to make him, I'm going to make him flip here, okay? And maybe we'll have him on this next one, he'll flip around again, but he'll be doing a wheelie. And that looks good. And maybe one more where he is, he does an endo or something like that. Okay, so that's called an endo, by the way. So let's go ahead and make these all morphs, and let's go make them all pretty quick. So maybe something like 0.5 or something like that. All right, so what we're going to do here to fool PowerPoint is we're going to export this as a animated GIF. All right, so save it as an animated GIF, call him Scooter. Already did this once before, ignore that. Large, okay. So I'm just going to make it a large GIF, export, save it to my desktop. So right now, Scooter is saving there. So let's get rid of the original Scooter. Let's bring Scooter in. Okay, so now we have Scooter here. I'm going to send him to the back. So now this is an animated GIF. If I hit play, you will see that he will do some stuff here. Yeah, okay, so he's working. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add some animations. So he's already doing animations in the animated GIF. But if we want him to jump over this box, we can just make like a nice little arc here, and we can even have him spin at the same time. So I have this happen with, and then I'll have this happen with previous. I'm gonna auto reverse this. I mean, we're just gonna add as much stuff as we can. We want this to be a lot. So that looks good too. All right, so now let's go ahead and play and see what happens here. So now he's flipping over. Look at him. He is doing it all. Look at him. He is, what? Do you see that? He's doing it all. And the only reason, okay, and the last thing I wanted to do, this one here, that should have happened to the end of slide. Okay, so now he should be doing all kinds of stuff. Like, watch this. Oh, look at that. Look at Scooter. That is the power of the animated GIF in PowerPoint.
Wow, that was such a great tip from Joel. He never ceases to amaze and he never disappoints. How many of you have actually used GIFs nested along animations inside of PowerPoint. That's a pretty advanced technique, and he showed it in under 3 minutes. All right, let's see what our next instructor's got to compete with him. So next up, we've got another return instructor, Mr. Nolan Hames. Nolan always has something up his sleeve. Let's see what he's got for us. Nolan?
Hi, I'm Nolan, and I'm going to show you how to make adjustable paragraph rules in PowerPoint. I'm indebted to Steffi Hogan, who first showed me this technique. So this is a statement slide from the presentation template that all the speakers got for this week. And here's a statement slide. You can see that if I start typing in, that green rule on the left side starts to expand and match the text box. As I delete things, it shrinks down as well, and if I move my text box anywhere, it goes with it. So how was this created? Normally, if you wanted to do this kind of thing, like you wanted a text box here, you would create your text box, and you would put that rule in the master as just a bar, but is not going anywhere, right? It's completely divorced from that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into the master, shift click on normal down here to go right to that. So here's that floating green vertical rule. We're just going to delete that. We don't need it anymore. We're going to make that green rule connected to this text box. And we're going to do it by selecting the text box, going to shape format, edit shape, change shape. Okay, now here's where we're going to do. We're going to change it from just a regular text box down under callouts to this one over here. It's called line callout 1, no border. By doing this, you'll see that I've got these two lines here, these two end caps. Those are the end caps to a call out. And if I apply an outline to this, right, let me make it a little bit bigger so we can see. Applying the outline does not apply to the text box in this case. It applies it to this little call out. This call out is editable. It can go anywhere you want it to be. So you could have it be a vertical rule like this. And then I'm just going to sort of play around with that a little bit. Okay, if that's what I want, now I can go back to my slide. And if I start clicking in, that rule is now changing. And it's adjusting. And you can go back into the master and make it shorter if that's more than you wanted. But the other cool thing you can do here, you can move it. So it doesn't have to be a vertical left-hand rule. It could be a top rule, which is interesting in that the text box moves, although it doesn't adjust at all. But it could be a small little bottom rule, right? So as I delete things, it moves, or as I add content, it moves. Now you can't, you'll see this is a little askew here, so you gotta kind of sort of do this manually here. You can't type in a number or it won't snap, unfortunately. But there you go. So that is creating manual paragraph rules. You can do them on the side, the top, the bottom, wherever. Use the callout box, and that's my 3-minute tip.
I cannot tell you how many times I have created some kind of weird Band-Aid duct tape patch it up hack version of trying to recreate what Nolan just did in less than 3 minutes. And in fact, to tell a story about it, this year when Creative Pro Conference founders sent out this year's template, and I got to that slide, which was part of our template, I started typing in my title and I saw the line move and it wasn't connected to the box, and immediately went, how does that work? And I spent a long time trying to deconstruct and figure it out. Eventually I did figure it out, but I definitely didn't figure it out in under 3 minutes. So that was an awesome tip from Nolan there. So next up, let's see what this other return guest instructor has for us, Miss Julie Terberg. What you got, Julie?
Hi, I'm Julie Terberg. My presentation design tip has to do with the draw tools in PowerPoint. Try something new for a change. Try including some hand-drawn elements on your slides. Now, this Draw tab has been around in PowerPoint for Windows for a few years, most recently coming to the Mac versions of Office, so it should be available to you. This gallery includes some pens and some pencils and some highlighters. Let's take a look at the pen, for instance. When you look at the drop down for the pen, you've got different thicknesses available, different colors. You can choose more colors. I wouldn't worry too much about the thickness or the colors because that's all editable later. Now, if I draw using my mouse, draw with touch and draw a stroke with the pen, you'll see that it's all the same thickness. However, you can take advantage of pressure-sensitive stylus, like I've got a Surface Pen, and use different amounts of pressure to get thicker and thinner strokes. You can do that with a Wacom tablet or something similar. the pencil, let me change this to black. If I draw with the pencil, you'll see that it looks like a pencil sketch, pencil drawing, and I can draw strokes using my Surface Pen. But if I turn it sideways, I get shading and stippling for interesting pencil effects. How about a chalkboard background? If I use a white pencil and draw the word chalk, for instance, now if I select my chalk drawing, my pencil drawing, and change the line weight to about 18 point, it looks more like chalk. One of the best reasons to use these drawing features is Ink Replay. Right here on the Draw tab, Ink Replay. PowerPoint remembers every pencil stroke and pen stroke you took with the draw tools and will instantly animate it for you. The bonus is you can add these to you can edit these on your animation tab and change the timing, make them much faster, slower, combine them. It's really a powerful way to add drawing in your presentations. Think about sketchnoting. You can do some really cool things using the draw tools to sketchnote. Now here's another tip for you. Let's say you're drawing some sketched items and tracing things like this box. My tip here is to make your source image large and trace it large, and then you end up with a result something like this. And when you scale it down, things clean up a bit, and you can change the line weight, like I said, and let's change the color for that icon. And now you've got a much more interesting sketch-like icon that's not so sloppy if you were to have tried to have drawn it at this size. So there you have it. My tip is when you want to do something different and unusual, try drawing it instead.
Wow, and as per usual, Julie does not disappoint, showing you one of the latest and greatest hot features in the most recent round of updates of PowerPoint, and finally, some analog-looking graphical elements that doesn't require us to go to Photoshop or Illustrator. That's going to be a hard one to beat. But next up, we have a brand new instructor to the Click conference here at Creative Pro Week, the billion-dollar graphic man himself, Mr. Mike Parkinson. So here's our newbie coming up to blow your minds away. 3 minutes max. Mike, what you got?
Hello, super awesome person. Welcome to the Bang Bang Morph Pro Tip. If you're not aware, Morph is a really cool transition effect that you can apply to your PowerPoint slides where it automatically animates the differences between the two slides. So if you move something on one slide from the other, it will automatically animate the difference of the two. It'll move it and do some really cool effects very, very simply. What used to take a long time to do is now very, very fast. The challenge is morphing one shape into another. That has been a problem in the past, and I'm going to show you the secret of how to do it. So the first thing that you're going to do with Morph is I'm going to insert a shape, and I'm just going to insert an oval, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that slide, paste it, and now I'm going to move that oval to any other size. Now what Morph does is it says, what's that shape called? And that shape is called oval 5. And so therefore, anything that I do to oval 5, it will automatically, when I apply the Morph transition, it will automatically apply the animation between the two to show the differences. But if I were to accidentally, or if I were to want the circle to change into a rectangle, and I were to apply that same transition, it wouldn't understand how. It would only do a fade. So here's the secret. What you do is you open up your selection pane. It's a little different on a Mac or the PC. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of that to ! Any name that I want. So I've changed it to what's called in the coding world as bang bang for the exclamation points. ! Shape. The next thing that I do is I go to my next slide, I find that rectangle, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to the same name. So I'm going to change it to bang bang shape. So you can see it's the same name. So now I just told Morph that I want you to translate this shape to this shape. And so now it does all the animation in between. So if you have any questions whatsoever about anything that you heard, please reach out to me. It is my goal to help you kick even more butt and take names. Enjoy your day.
Dude. Mike, I gave you 3 minutes max. You gave your tip in 2 minutes. And it was an amazing one. Peeling back the hood on how to use the selection pane and a little bit of code in the naming convention so that you can influence the morph transition feature. That has solved more problems than you can imagine for me, and definitely one that everyone should pay attention to. But from newbie to last time winner, we've got Mr. Richard Goring from Bright Carbon, who is going to show you his super powerful 3-minute tip. And I wish we could all be in person this year. I know it's a crazy time. I personally am going to miss being on stage with Richard because I just want to see what suit he's wearing every year. He's a rather dapper fellow. But you'll have to put up with the amazing tip, the amazing graphics, and his wonderful voice. Richard, what you got for us?
Right, I've got 3 minutes max to show you something cool. I want to show you how to break through the shackles of traditional linear presentations and create something interactive. That could be for a document or for a presentation that responds to your audience's needs, leaving them thrilled and delighted. You could do it with old-fashioned hyperlinks, which allow you to click any object and link that to any other slide. But then you need to consider how to get back, so you need to do a submenu, and then someone says, can you add one bit more, and another, and I need help. But there is another way to use the more modern Zoom navigation tool. So here we have a typical presentation, 20 odd slides or so, broken down into sections. If you want to add a section, by the way, you can do by right-clicking and choosing Add Section, or on the Home tab, choose Section and add a section there. Type in a name, and now you can more easily manage your deck. But how do you use that to your advantage? Well, you can go to the Insert tab on the ribbon and choose Zoom here in the middle. There you can add a summary, section, or slide zoom, and if you choose section zoom, it shows you all of them in the deck. Choose one of them, insert, and now you get a little thumbnail of the first slide in this section. But it's not just a picture, that in slideshow mode is now a clickable link allowing you to zoom into that slide. You can then go through all of the slides in that section, presenting them to your audience in response to their needs, and then when you get to the final slide in the sequence, this one here, the next click will take you back to the menu. Then you can go to another section because that's more relevant to people, and again, click through the content and then it will bring you back to the menu. But what if you want something a bit more interesting? This is also a zoom menu and can be achieved in the same way. So here I've got a zoomable link, but if you delete that, go Insert, Zoom, and Section Zoom, and insert the relevant bit, you get this horrible white background. What's going on there? Well, it reflects this slide here. But you can go to the Zoom tab on the ribbon and choose Zoom Background over here on the right to disable that, and it uses the menu structure here as the background. Spin that around a little bit, position it how you want, go into slideshow mode, click on the relevant content, zoom into that, go through all the slides in the sequence as you would do, and then you can come back to your menu, go to something else, and now you're zooming into it. It's a great way to create interactive content. Oh, and by the way, you can use triggers as well to add in extra content on each of the slides before coming back into your menu. And that's it, we're done. So go forth and do amazing things for your audiences using PowerPoint.
That right there is why I love this event. What an amazing set of tips, and breaking the mold from, as Richard said, boring flat presentations. That was an amazing way to show how to build an interactive kiosk, interactive menu, some way of utilizing a touchscreen. There are so many applications that might make you think a little bit differently about how you deliver your content for your clients in the future. So now the big question. Which one did you fall in love with? Was it something from the front with Joel's animation? Maybe it was part of Nolan's trick of using that new placeholder for your copy. Did you like what Julie was doing with the new analog drawing style graphics? Maybe Mike blew you away, peeling back the hood and getting you to understand how to code something so that Morph becomes more intelligent. Or of course, the mind-blowing Mr. Richard Goring showing us how to make an interactive presentation self-navigable in really the easiest way possible. Well, only you get to decide. So now that you've watched all of these great tips, you can go to the survey link on this page. Is it this way? Is it this way? I forget which way it is. You know the page I'm talking about. It is on the Creative Pro site here that you use to get to this session. The link's down there in the bottom corner. Click on that. Make sure you vote. It will register you and enter your name in the raffle to win a 1-year subscription to Creative Cloud from Adobe. As always, I am Mark Heaps, your co-host here at Creative Pro Week and co-creator of the Click Conference. I'm so glad you guys would spend some time with us. And of course, if you have any questions at all, enter them in the chat. We would be more than happy to answer them, or if it goes deeper than that, we can get answers directly from the instructors during this session. All right, you guys have a great rest of your conference and keep on clicking.